Hello and welcome to the driving show. We are at episode 11, so that's super exciting. I'm headed out to the gym as usual, and what I always do as we start this show, so that is always exciting. Yesterday doing the legs, it went well. I'm actually not that sore, which is kind of troublesome, meaning that I feel like it means I didn't do enough, and it was kind of a weird time because the gym was kind of full. A lot of the machines in different areas, they were either the stuff was broken or stuff was taken up by other people. So I don't know. That's why I previously liked just going early morning to the gym if I was going to be doing weights, because I was like, I don't want to cutting across lanes to the freeway. I don't want to have to be nervous and feel like I'm waiting for things. It's just a waste of time. And you know what else is weird with that? A lot of people work out in groups, so like I think two is the max you should ever do, but sometimes 3, sometimes 4, and they waste so much time, and they also take up the weights or machines, whatever they're doing, because all 3 of them or all 4 of them, even 2 people have to go through it. I'm like, you guys, you're wasting time because you're talking, and then you're on your phones, and then you're laughing, and you're not actually working out. So it's one of those things where I'm like, it just seems like a waste. Just I don't know. I like going to the gym by myself. I think it's better that way. But then again, it would be more fun if you went with a friend and worked out. But then you're kind of maybe doing a trade-off of, you have to stay there so much longer because you have to switch off, and I don't know. But that's all to say. Today, I think I'm going to do more of like the calisthenic stuff, maybe some ab work. Still staying away from the pool because my hands are still shot from, the chlorine and just washing my hands too much. Basically, if you take good care of yourself, hygiene-wise, and are washing your hands all throughout the day, that will just further dry out your hands as well. So that's not always great. But I want to talk about trials because last night at the young adult group, we finished the book of Philippians in the Bible and kind of had a what did you learn, or what can you learn from that? And a lot of what Paul was going through, so he's the author of Philippians, he was going through a lot of trials. He was in prison as he's writing this letter, but at the same time he talks about how he's content in everything, whether he has a lot or if he has a little, he's content because he's not focusing in on the outward. He's not focusing inward, but he's focusing upward on God. And I think that's kind of the takeaway that I got when you look through your own life and seeing okay, if I watch the news and see the state of America, where we are headed, it can get very discouraging when you're watching the news and seeing what culture and society both are doing and where it's headed. Okay, that's one thing. So if you learn to stay away from looking outward, then awesome, you feel a little bit better. But then a lot of people, hey, from Germany, someone just joined, good to have you here. The other thing though that people will say, so if they tell you don't look outward in order to be content and live a happy life, they will usually say look inward because we are all good. And that also is damaging and not a good path to take, because that can lead to just so much more trouble, in whether it's pride or sometimes the opposite. If you're looking in and getting real honest with yourself, you're like, I'm a terrible person, or it's very easy to get into depression or anxiety and just discontentment all around of seeing what other people are doing, living too much in your head, not living for yourself outwardly. But at the same time, so if that's not good and then looking in is not good, what can you do? And that's what in the book of Philippians in the Bible is, he's looking upward to God and seeing that he can provide for him, and even when you're going through trials, that you can still be content. And so I think that's something that, as I've had my own business now for at least 2 years, almost 3 will be in the fall, it's definitely something that all small business owners, and really, if you're just a human, you will look back and see just these different times of trials in your life when you don't understand why you're going through it. Why am I having to go through all of this? But a lot of times, it's not so much later that you realize oh, I went through this so that this could happen, or I'm much stronger of a person now because of what I went through. And so I think it's very easy, for myself, it's very easy afterwards to look back and be like, oh, it all makes sense. I failed that coffee business I wanted to start, and then I lost the Starbucks job because the store closed. I was on unemployment, government, healthcare, I'm not making any money besides the dog walking job. Like, why is this all happening? My hope is, though, in a couple months, maybe a year or two, I'll be like, oh, this all happened so that I could give everything to this business, make money, create the future I wanted. But within all of that, so I understand that, and you probably do too, of like, oh yeah, as you get older, you can always look back. But what about when you're in the trial? What about when you're in those hard times? And that's when it becomes so much more difficult to really say like, okay, hold up, don't go crazy as far as, getting so down on yourself, or, even recently, someone who I hadn't talked with in a while was like, oh, hey, how's your house savings going? Because they had known kind of the last time I talked with them, I've just been working really hard the last couple years, saving up for a house. Like, that's my goal. I want to get married, have lots of kids, get a house, start other businesses. And I was like, oh, I haven't even been looking for houses. Like, I don't have a job right now that pays me money, so I can't be worrying about that. And the funny thing, though, is I hadn't been worried about that or stressed out about that, even with trying to find a wife. Like, I got off all the dating apps, and I was like, I'm just praying that God will bring her to my church. So I have kind of like pushed that aside too, of just trying to, really focus in on where I am now in life. And I would say kind of along the lines of trying to be content with what I do have, having a strong family, having my health. And so when they had messaged me, though, that was kind of like almost like an invitation to jump back to, like, I opened my savings account and I'm like, oh, I told them I had this much saved and I don't actually have that much saved. And then I switched to my next bank account and I was like, man, the money I had there, which was from those savings, just kind of as like a backup, I'm like, those are starting to dwindle down too. And so all to say, it's very easy to jump into discontentment by looking at, what you're going through. Oh, I feel bad for myself, or life is not going well. But it definitely is a skill to where, you have to not look outwardly, at the material stuff, as I was saying, or even like what's going on with the new society, because it's so easy just to get down and depressed, and even the comparison game of like, oh, I should be further, I'm 29, almost 30 in the fall, and like, I should be a lot further, to inwardly of just being like, oh, man, like same sort of frustrations. But if you can focus on, living the life that God has for you, following Him, then does it actually mean things are going to be easier? No, because you will still go through these trials, but you can actually learn to be content in what you have and what you're going through, knowing that He's got a plan for you. So that's kind of just what I've been thinking around, and I think that's really important if you do have your own business, or if you're heading towards that, because that's something you're going to have to go through. When in the group they ask like, what's a trial you've gone through? I'm like, having a business. Like, hopefully it won't always be a trial, but if you have friends or family that have their own small businesses, it's definitely like, man, it's hard, and there's a lot of ups, and I feel like, especially when you start, potentially a lot more downs. But I actually have people on the podcast share about that quite often, almost every episode, of sharing the ups and downs, because I think it is really helpful to hear what other people go through, to relate with them, to know that you are not alone. And that's what, with Fisher Philbrick, we're here to help you start, build, and promote your own small business, but also to be a community, to be here with you throughout that process. So that's something that I'm pushing on a lot more as I continue to, really build these foundations and go on through there. So that's always exciting. I did, as far as what I've been working on and what I worked on yesterday, I got those 2 videos recorded like I was wanting to. So hooray for that. They ended up being each an hour long about. So I was like, man, by the time I finished, my voice was very tired, and I was like, I think I pushed myself a little bit too far. So today I'm going to try to take a nap after I get home from the gym to make sure that I don't recatch the same cold. I mean, it'd be a different cold, but I don't want to get sick again. So I got those finished. So today I need to actually get them uploaded, edit them, get them uploaded on YouTube, and then plug them into the Welcome series. So that's something I didn't get to do yesterday. I just ran out of time. So I'll be finishing that up today and tomorrow. And then that survey to like get the current newsletter people into that resource, I will get that out. I think Thursday is my plan for now, So today is Tuesday as I'm talking to you. So that's going to be exciting. I sent them an email today about the trailer for the masterclass that I have coming up. So if you want to see that, you can go to my business's Beehive, the archive post. You can find it. And I got this really cool feature plugged in where it's called like a subscriber break. So as I'm writing the post or the email, however you want to look at it, it will send the full thing to people in an email. So if you've already signed up, you're on the list, then you'll see the whole thing. But if you're watching and viewing it on the web, so say you're not on my email list and you go to the web to look at it, because they do put the post as like blog posts, which is super cool feature, you'll be reading, and then I build up to, but I'm really excited to share with you this new trailer for the masterclass. And then it says, this is free content, but you need to sign up for Fisher Philbrick's mailing list to see it. So it's kind of like a cool, clever way to, it's really pretty annoying when you just want to read it or watch it, but the hope is that people that are tuning in, it will push them to sign up and really dive into it, especially if it's for people that have a current business or you're aspiring to have a business of your own. So that was exciting news for today. I got that up. It's unlisted on YouTube, so you won't be able to see it for now unless you are signed up, but I do plan to add it to the landing page. So that's something this week, not today, that I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be getting that all together, which is exciting. I do also need to add some more pain points to that landing page. So that was something when I had that last call with my mentor, he had mentioned some areas that I could improve. Oh my goodness. It's scary driving at the gym parking lot, you guys, especially when it's busy. I'm here a little bit earlier, so it's like kind of in the lunch rush, and these people just drive like crazy, like swerving in and out, and I'm like, I'm just trying to finish my driving show and get parked safely. But I've got that to work on this week, so that is exciting. And just like seeing how things are coming together, I think that is the most exciting thing as I am finishing up this masterclass, getting it all together. Last week was when I discovered Loom, which is that site where it'll put my little face in the bottom corner as I am screen recording. So it's really cool to see how everything is coming together. And it's one of those things where it's not until you look back that you see how everything is getting connected. But that's what I'm excited about. I'm just about to head into the gym. So let me tell you, if you haven't worked out today, you still got time in the day if you are in the US to go and get some exercise in, get your heart rate up, get some weights lifted, get some swimming in, whatever it is. If you can find something that you like to do that is fun, it'll help you get to where you're going. So whether it's getting outside or getting yourself to the gym. And then really, as I've said before, the hardest part is just showing up. So if you can get yourself to the gym or to the pool or to the outdoors to get a walk in, then everything gets so much easier, and you really will see that taking care of yourself and your health is so worth it. So I'm going to sign it off right here. Just tune in and get things excited and ready for later this week, because then that is when I'm going to be officially launching and announcing the whole Beehive platform and really pushing for people to sign up. So some exciting things coming, but have a great day.